this week's live stream. I hope you're having a good week. I believe that we are live and rolling. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out with me, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it later. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you hanging out and talking with me. This week we're doing hot takes. Hot takes is an idea where we talk about controversial opinion. Sorry, still getting over a bit of a cold. Some tea. We talk about controversial opinions, Disney hot takes, and some of your thoughts in the Disney community. And this week I have three. I got three from varying different people. First, we go to Patreon, as always. If you're interested in being a part of the hot takes or doing some other stuff with us, check out our Patreon page. The link is down below on our YouTube video if you're on YouTube watching this. It's patreon.com/network1901, patreon.com/network1901. A bunch of cool stuff comes from that, but I'm really excited to talk about Brittany's Patreon hot take, and she said that Dumbo is the live action remake of Dumbo is very underrated and probably one of the best of the bunch of live action remakes, but it will continue to go under the radar and no one will know that it really exists. Or people know it exists, people don't see it, and people don't really care. And this is something that we actually talked about a little bit on what will be tomorrow's podcast 1901 episode. We're talking about how Disney's live action films seem to be on the back burner to Star Wars, Marvel, and the animated films, Disney or Pixar. The live action films, beyond the remakes, like the remakes get a little bit more, but films like Tomorrowland, The Nutcracker in the Four Realms, those types of films just don't get any kind of love or play. And then at the same time, Disney's putting out so much content every year, and people are spending money in different ways. To be able to spend as much money as you need to go see every Disney movie at the theaters in a year, and by Disney I mean all of their subsidiaries, so Star Wars, Pixar, now Fox, you would be spending hundreds of dollars at the movie theater to see these films. So a lot of people would rather just pick, the ones that they want to see. And especially there's a lot of non-Disney films that everybody wants to see as well. So people are going to pick one, two, three, maybe four movies a year that they go to the theater and experience. A lot of people know this year particularly that they are going to go see Marvel Endgame. They're probably going to go see Star Wars Episode 9, and that leaves a few slots open. And Dumbo is just one of those films that a lot of people, even Shannon on our podcast, said she is not going to go see at the theater. And I want to see it, but I haven't gone to see it. I haven't made it like a priority to see it. And I think that's just because there's so much content. There's so many things to see. There's so many things to do. Everyone has Netflix at this point, paying $10 a month. We get so many movies and TV shows that are put out on a weekly basis on Netflix that you don't really need to go to the theater. So, it has to be an overly exceptional thing. But it stinks. It really does stink that Dumbo will not get the credit it deserves. The remakes, the live action remakes of Disney animated classics will continue, and Dumbo will kind of fall down the ranks. It's not a movie. Dumbo's not a movie from pretty much any generation that is alive at this point that is still going to the theaters. Dumbo did not come out, during their lifetime, the original film, and so, like with Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin or The Lion King, those movies will work or have worked because you have a generation of kids who went to see the original in the 1990s, taking their kids to see the live action remake. It's just not happening. This is my theory, my thought. Let me know what you guys think about Dumbo and the live action remake. If you are excited to see it, leave a comment down below or in the chat here. Another hot take here that I got from everyone. On Facebook, on our Facebook page, you can go to our official group and just join. It's Official Network 1901 group on Facebook, or you can go to facebook.com/network 1901, and that's our page there. You can join either one. I post the hot takes there. But Danelle Rains said Tangled is better than Frozen. And I don't know if I fully agree with this. The marketing for Tangled, just in general, was amazing. Or I'm sorry, the marketing for Frozen was amazing. The hype for Frozen was amazing, and I think that because of that, um, it got more play. It got like it reached that $2 billion level, and Frozen is the has now become this kind of lineage film where it's like one of the greatest of all time because of its box office success, because of the sisterly love story instead of the typical romance love story. It's just a different type of film. For that, it has a huge amount of credibility. Do I think that Rapunzel, Eugene, and some of the other characters in Tangled are better characters? Yes, but I don't think that the music is as memorable as it is in Frozen. I also don't think that Tangled is, especially with younger kids, is as popular. Like if you go to the Disney theme parks, you see a lot of kids dressed as Elsa. You don't see that many kids dressed as either Eugene or as Rapunzel. You just don't, and I don't know if that's maybe a generational thing. I know Danelle, is an adult like me, so I tend to gear towards that. But I think that kids loved Frozen. They connected with it. Angie said in the chat, it is way more epic. So you kind of have to go with that sometimes. Mariah in the chat said, I definitely want to see Dumbo, but I agree it's easier just to watch things on Netflix or YouTube, especially since they now have their own original content. Exactly, there's so much content going out there that like it's very very difficult to get to get someone's eyes on your product. You're basically not just competing with other movies or other TV shows. You're competing with everything these days. Like, I have this game on my phone right now that like I do kind of feel like I'm addicted to, and I might need to delete it soon. Um, but it's a game that I'll pay attention to, even when something that I want to watch is on TV, because it's just something that I'm into in the moment. So you've just got to capture those eyeballs. Dumbo's probably not going to do that, at least not in the theaters. Maybe it will when it goes um, to Netflix, or I guess the Disney Plus streaming service will probably be out by the time that it comes out um, on Blu-ray. Possibly, Dumbo might be out before the end of the summer. I don't know if it'll go to Netflix. Might wait for the Disney streaming service. By the way, is there any like movies that you're like really looking forward to on Disney Plus? Like, is there any like one particular Disney movie that you're like, oh, I can't wait for this one to hit the streaming service? Um, there's a couple for me that I'm interested in. I'm interested in going back and watching some of the older stuff, like all the Davy Crockett films. I'm actually interested in watching this movie from the 1940s that I've never seen called "So Dear to My Heart," which like everyone knows, "Song of the South" and its controversy, but like the next year they made another live action animation hybrid called "So Dear to My Heart." Nobody really knows about it, and it doesn't ever come on TV. So Angie said Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Of course. I believe she also has that on DVD. So Angie's just in the other room. All right, and a last one here that I got before the show. And feel free to throw your hot takes or controversial opinions into the chat. We'll discuss them, keep the conversation going for a little bit here on this live show. But the last one that I got, and it's kind of a throw to my podcast that came out this past week. Luke said on Facebook, Walt Disney's head is cryogenically frozen under Disneyland. Lol. In case you didn't know, Um, Disney is not frozen. He's not just cryogenically waiting to get reincarnated. There is a plot of land in LA that does have his gravestone. He was cremated. Um, you can go and visit it, and I know that doesn't change the conspiracy. The conspiracy theorists will say, well, that's not his real ashes. That you can put a gravestone anywhere. It doesn't mean that you're dead. Um, but in this past week's Modern Mouse episode, if you want to check that out, go to network1901.com/Modern Mouse. Listen to episode 1 of the brand new show that I've got out called Modern Mouse, which is kind of a retake on my old podcast, Modern Mouse Radio. We've revamped it. It's now just called Modern Mouse. But we talked about Disney being frozen. We talked about Disney being anti-Semitic, racist, sexist, and all of the mythology and stories that people tell about Disney. And if they do harm to Disney or not do harm to Disney, it's a really interesting kind of topic to talk about because it's not just about Walt Disney. We tell tall tales and myths and fake stories about almost everyone, um, whether we like them or whether we hate them. It's just a fact. Some people come on this YouTube channel all the time and tell us we praise Walt Disney too much, we treat him like a god. And maybe in some cases they're right because we like Walt Disney and we like everything he did. There are other people that come onto our YouTube channel and say, "Why would you talk about Walt Disney? He was a racist, a sexist." And it just fits their agenda. It's about their agenda and their ideas. If you want Walt Disney to be frozen under Disneyland, waiting to be brought back to life so that he can fix something, that can be your belief because you hope that Walt Disney will come back one day. He's not. Um, Even if they were able to bring him back at this point, I don't know. His body definitely couldn't handle it. So he definitely wouldn't look the same. They would probably have to move his brain. I can't believe I'm talking about this. They would have to move his brain from the body of Walt Disney to a body of somebody else. It just wouldn't be the same. It would not be the same Walt Disney that we had before. Mariah said in the chat, I don't know a lot about Disney Plus. Can you give us a quick rundown of what it will be? I'm a huge Disney nerd, so I can't wait to binge watch Disney shows and movies. Yeah, so Disney Plus is coming out by the end of the year. I think right now they're talking about the streaming service being something like $6.99 or $8.99. It's going to be less than Netflix. Bob Iger, who runs the Disney company, has said it will be less than Netflix. It's got a bunch of original content that's coming out. They're going to have a brand new Star Wars show called The Mandalorian, which is going to be a live action Star Wars show. They're going to have a couple of live action Marvel shows, one about Loki, one about the relationship between Vision and Scarlet Witch, possibly one about Falcon and Winter Soldier, kind of a buddy comedy show. They're talking about a couple of other live action shows. They're talking about a Muppet Show reboot. A lot of original content coming with this. They're also talking about some live action films going straight to the streaming service instead of theaters, which I think is actually a good call on their part. And Disney has said, quote unquote, whatever this means, every movie that we have will be on the streaming service. And I think that means every Disney animated film from Snow White up into, at this point, Moana, will be on the streaming, or I guess Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet will be on the streaming service. And I don't know if they're going to add live action content, television content, but it looks like this is going to launch by December of 2018 or of 2019 in the U.S. And then a few months later, it will launch worldwide, at least in Canada and the UK, possibly other countries worldwide, probably early 2020. Noel said, what about TV shows? I'd like to see House of Mouse. They haven't said what TV shows will be on the channel. Older shows. We've got this idea for a couple of newer shows that'll be coming to the streaming service. And by the way, Marvel has even said that the Marvel shows that they did on Netflix, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, they're actually going to be remaking those shows for the streaming service eventually. So the shows that you see on Marvel, on Netflix from Marvel, will exist in a totally different way on the streaming service. All of the Fox television and movie content, we're not sure what's going to happen with that yet. There's a lot of speculation because with the Fox deal, Disney also now owns 30% of Hulu, a majority of Hulu, and they've talked about some of the more PG-13 R-rated stuff going to Hulu and more of the G-rated, PG-rated stuff going to the Disney streaming service so that they can keep Disney Plus more family friendly, if that all makes sense. But the streaming service in general, I think is going to be good for them. A lot of people are saying that it's going to hurt Netflix and Hulu or Amazon Prime. I don't think it will. I think enough people are interested in some of the stuff on all of those different platforms, especially Hulu. Hulu has live television with sports, and then Hulu also shows TV shows like the next day instead of like with Netflix, having to wait months out before you see new seasons of shows put on or movies put on. It's more next day with Hulu. So those two have garnered a certain market. Amazon Prime may be the one to suffer more, but Amazon Prime's demographic isn't necessarily the Disney Plus demographic. We'll see what happens with all of these streaming services. Mariah again said, sounds amazing. So glad I clicked on this live chat. I'm a new subscriber. I love the content from this channel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us. For those, we've got a lot of new people lately on the YouTube channel. We're nearing 9,000 subscribers. Over the last month, we've gained, I believe, over 1,000 new subscribers. So thanks to you for coming aboard. I'm Josh. The other two people on this channel are Angie, my wife, and Shannon, our good friend. And Shannon is going to be this coming week at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to go see the convention in Chicago. We're probably going to learn a lot more about Star Wars Episode 9. We're definitely going to be learning more about Galaxy's Edge as we inch closer to Disneyland's version of Galaxy's Edge opening. We'll be inching closer to The Mandalorian coming to the Disney streaming service. They're going to be adding other Star Wars stuff to the Disney streaming service, so we may get more of that. So we'll be talking more about Star Wars Celebration this coming week. I'll probably be talking about it, or Angie will be talking about it next Sunday. Shannon will... Pardon me. I'm still getting over like a little sickness here. Shannon will actually be at Star Wars Celebration, so she probably won't be live streaming on Sunday night. So it'll be either Angie or I talking about Star Wars Celebration, talking about all the Star Wars stuff that's come out from Celebration. We won't even know all of it because Monday will still be another day of that convention. It'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We'll know most everything. We won't know everything completely, but yeah. Jesse said, Mandalorian will probably replace Game of Thrones as must-watch TV. So I could see Disney Plus being the second, the big second to Netflix when it launches. Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to drop Netflix at this point. And Hulu doesn't have a huge, it has ABC, NBC shows, stuff like that. So if you want to watch Saturday Night Live or other stuff like that, some FX shows like Atlanta, you want to watch that. But they don't really have a whole lot of amazing original content that's must-watch TV. For a lot of people, yeah, that are Star Wars fans, a lot of people that are Marvel fans. I've heard talks about some other animated shows coming to the streaming service. Pixar, by the way, if you've not seen some of the Pixar shorts that are going to come to the streaming service, I believe there's 3 of them or 4 of them. They're currently out on Pixar's YouTube channel. Make sure to check out the Pixar Spark shorts. They're fantastic shorts, and there's going to be a big, huge block of them coming to the Disney Plus streaming service. So Pixar will have a presence there. I'm sure Disney will be bringing a lot of their animated stuff. I'm hoping, you said House of Mouse. Noel, but I do think they will have a lot of their current content, DuckTales, Tangled, Big Hero 6, The Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of the stuff on Disney XD, Spider-Man, um, Avengers, so forth. And I know that they are going to put all of the Mickey Mouse shorts, the new Mickey Mouse shorts, on the streaming service, so you can look forward to that. There's a lot of great stuff coming to the streaming service that'll be really interesting. Um, but we're coming near. We do these every Sunday night. I started a little bit later tonight at 5:30 Pacific. Usually we start at 5 p.m. If you're interested in doing anything else with our podcasts, with our videos, go check out network1901.com. I'm actually going to be revamping the site over the next couple of weeks, adding in some new things. If you want to help support our channel, help support what we do, you can go to our merchandise store. Again, network1901.com. Click on the merchandise button. We've got tons of t-shirts, designs that can also be phone cases and logos and everything. You can get an awesome Umbrella Castle tee. There's some fantastic stuff up there. So go check that out. And our Patreon page, patreon.com/network1901 is where you can join us, help us out. You get some cool stuff, including merchandise at a certain level. Also, some extra podcasts. And then, of course, all of our podcasts, you can just go to network1901.com, click there, listen to podcasts, hang out, share stuff. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate your time. I know it's a big Sunday. WrestleMania is going on right now. And if you're a wrestling fan, there's like a bunch of shows that are coming up in the next few weeks. I've got to compete with Game of Thrones on Sunday nights. And then I believe I'll be competing with Mother's Day coming up. Easter's coming up. So Sundays might be kind of a weird time, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. And until next time, thank you guys for watching. Can't wait to be with you sometime soon. Look out for this coming week's video that will drop, another Disney Legends video. If you like those, we're going to have a new Disney Legends video. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me. Thumbs up to this video, subscribe if you've not already, and keep on moving, people. See ya. Bye.